And in that video, I gave a comprehensive look at the basic information a person would need to be able to buy gold comfortably. But I only talked about buying. And since the implications that come with selling are the biggest considerations for what we should be buying in the first place, I wanted to talk a bit more about that side of things as well. So in this one, we're going to pick back up and we're going to look at a few more well-known gold coins, and then we're going to talk a little bit about selling. And that's when all this should come together and my recommendations should make a little bit more sense. So if you're new to gold, I'd still say you should start with that video. And then if you're not, I'll just say that this video is like the last. It's not meant to tell anyone that whatever it is they're doing is wrong in any way. If you already have a plan that works for you, fantastic. Whether you're new or not, it's your money at the end of the day, so you can do whatever you want. Unless your significant other tells you you can't. Then be careful. So in part one of that earlier video, I told you the best gold coins to buy in the United States are the American Gold Eagle and the American Buffalo. Nothing has changed there. The American Gold Eagle is the most popular coin in the United States. But if you want a 24 karat gold coin, the Buffalo is still a great option. If you're looking for something else though, there are a number of well-known coins, and if you aren't expecting a near-term sale, or trying to sell a lot at any single time, or concerned about selling in person for cash, then you have quite a few options. Now this next tier of popular coins are going to be well recognized and easy to sell at the local coin shop. You just won't get as much for them as you would for an American Gold Eagle or an American Buffalo. They'll also be harder to find in person, but if you're buying them online, you can expect to find them for a slightly lower premium than the Eagles or the Buffaloes. These coins are going to include options like the Canadian Maple Leaf, the South African Krugerrand, the Austrian Philharmonic, the British Britannia, the Australian Kangaroo, the Mexican Libertad, and probably the Chinese Gold Panda as well. Then we could potentially widen the lens even further and look at the secondary coins from those mints or series coins. And those mints are going to be the US Mint, the Royal Canadian Mint, the Royal Mint, Perth Mint, and a few others. But it is hard to know if the local coin shops are going to have preferences. I know a few who don't like pandas, for instance. So here are a few examples of those secondary coins. This is a Double Dragon from the Perth Mint. It's a fantastic coin from a fantastic mint, but it's not going to be as well known as the Kangaroo that comes from the same mint. And then this American Liberty 225th anniversary gold coin is another good example. It comes from the US Mint, of course, but it's not nearly as well known as, say, the Buffalo or the Eagle. It's a gorgeous coin, and I have a lot of the same options to sell it, but I know that if I'm going to sell it in person at the local coin shop, I will get less for this coin than I would for the Eagle or the Buffalo. Now in this video, I'm not going to go very far into this, but for the sake of discussion, if you're willing to stray a little bit further from the most widely recognized or desired coins, then you're going to find a lot of options at lower premium. These are going to be coins like the British sovereigns or the 20 francs or roosters or ducats or a lot of the old European coins. It also includes things like pesos. Now I don't have any of these coins in front of me right now simply because I've had a bad experience trying to sell them in the past. They are a lot harder to sell in a person-to-person cash sale. And the owner of my primary local coin shop that I go to complains about them loudly enough that I wonder if he's had some kind of old battle trauma with them. You will hear a lot of people recommend them though, and if you have an Instagram account with a huge following and you're able to sell them very quickly, or you're super comfortable with eBay, then by all means, take that advice as well. But if you're not sure about those options and you want to sell at a local coin shop, you should know that they'll all pay spot plus a small premium for the Eagles and the Buffaloes. They'll pay close to spot for the secondary options I mentioned. And then when you get down to this last tier that we were just talking about, they might pay 94 to 95% of spot for coins like roosters or pesos. But the bigger issue that I've found is that I've actually had shops politely decline to buy those coins from me in the past. So selling them took a few months, whereas selling Eagles took an hour. That includes drive time. So I'm going to get more into selling in a minute. Whatever you decide on though, make sure to consider that if you plan to continue buying over time, any decision that you make is going to multiply the ease or friction that you'll run into in the event of a sale. So if you just plan to buy a few coins and put them away, it might not be as big of a consideration. But if you find yourself amassing 10 ounces of roosters, for instance, well, that's going to become a factor. A few other categories that I'll just mention briefly here are generic bars, pre-33 gold, and collectibles. Bars typically have a low premium, but they limit your selling options since most buyers will need to have them verified. I'm not going to say a whole lot more about them here because they're just not part of my personal buying plan. I would recommend that you call a few local coin shops and ask for their opinion before buying them yourself, because I know each of the shops that I use recommend against them. On the other side of the premium scale are collectible pieces, and this is simply too broad a category to cover in a wide-angle video. I would only say that you should be very careful buying high-premium collectible pieces if you don't have experience selling them. And then pre-33 US gold coins fit somewhere in between. They typically have numismatic value, and that makes them harder to recognize the actual value of the coins. So in other words, it's easier to get a bad deal unless you know exactly what to look for. So we're going to skip past those for now as well. I like pre-33 gold coins, they're just hard to explain, and I think there's something that you shouldn't start with. Now in part 3 of my Gold 101 video, I talked a fair amount about where to buy. If you're buying in person, I'd always recommend starting with a local coin shop. Well, that's if you have one available. In a lot of cases, they're going to beat the prices of the online dealers, but an even bigger advantage is that they operate in cash. And that is incredibly important to some people, and then it's meaningless to others. I'll just make the point that if you want a private purchase, your local coin shop is one of the very few ways you're going to be able to get it. Now 10 years ago, the local coin shop was far and away the best place to go. Today that's starting to change as more and more people are going online. So in that same section of that video, I also talked a little bit about buying online, and I mentioned 2 online bullion dealers, AppMex and SD Bullion. But there are all kinds of sites. Each of them have varying prices and availability. So there are other tools out there that will help you find the deals on each of the sites. And I'm going to link to findbullionprices.com. So as of right now, as of the time of filming this video, that gives you a really good price check between a bunch of different sites, and I like to use it before I buy. But I do like to buy from the gold dealers that I'm familiar with, if at all possible. And that gets less concerning as the purchases get smaller, of course. So if I was buying something like silver, I'd be even less concerned. I'd be looking on Instagram and other peer-to-peer communities. But with gold, I don't want to mess around. I don't want the potential problems with those communities, and I certainly don't want the anxiety. Here again, I'll just say it really comes down to your experience. If you have been buying and selling on eBay, by all means continue. If you have an outlet on Instagram and you've built relationships and you can buy there as well, by all means go for it. But if you're new to gold, I think we can probably assume that you don't have those relationships, you don't have that experience working with people over Instagram or Reddit or wherever. You're probably going to be looking at the more traditional places to buy gold. And that also means that you're going to be looking at the more traditional places to sell gold. And that's our segue to talk about selling. Our traditional options are going to be the local coin shop or any of the local places that we sell gold, the pawn shops, etc. And then I would also say today that your online bullion dealers have some really good options for buying gold as well. Your local coin shops want the coins that they can sell quickly. And that's where a lot of my recommendations come from. So the American Gold Eagles, the American Buffaloes sell far more quickly than any of these other coins will. So that works in your favor if that's what you have. The coin shops are going to pay more for those coins than they will for the others. And honestly, there's not a whole lot to say about selling to a local coin shop. It's a lot like buying from a local coin shop, but in reverse. But here are a few tips. Don't go into the local coin shop with your coins in an AppMex flip. That's just not the mood that you want to set out of the gate. And then have your coins organized and know what you have. Every coin shop is going to be different, but there's a tendency for anyone to look at a pile of random coins, find the one that they don't like, and have that influence the entire season. If you have a stack of Eagles, they're all smiles. Everything's going to go your way. If you've got 24 coins and every one of them is different, all of them foreign, it might not work out like you wanted to. So sometimes if you have that kind of pile, or even if you do have the Eagles and you just want some other options, maybe the local coin shops aren't close to you. The online bullion dealers have some really great options on buying back gold. I would say just go to AppMex and look at their buyback program. Call them up even, get some ideas on what they'll give just to get familiar with the program. The downside in a sale like that is obvious. You've got a few things. First, it's not a cash sale, and that's going to be a huge deal to some people, and it's not going to make a bit of difference to others. Now, the between the lines part here is capital gains tax, and I'm not at all saying that you should try to avoid those taxes. But historically, I'd say it's pretty safe to say that that's the reason a lot of people like local cash sales. And the other downsides are time and comfort, and it's going to vary from person to person, but you have to ship your gold, and it's going to be out of your hands for a while. And if you want to get into cowboy territory, you're looking at lots of other options like eBay, Reddit, Instagram, or Facebook, even Craigslist. So when people tell you you'll get your premium back on anything you buy, they're talking about selling on places like eBay or Reddit, Instagram, whatever. And they're saying they'll get their premium back. That doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get your premium back, because a lot of people are going to be comfortable selling on eBay and others aren't. I've had two big issues where I've sent gold coins and the buyer said that they didn't receive those coins. It was a total scam, and it was a nightmare trying to undo that. So as you think through those options that you'll have to sell a coin, it starts to become a lot more clear what coins you should buy in the first place. Because some of those options are going to put you in a place where you're going to have to sell on eBay and take a little more risk. And if you don't mind that, well, those roosters and those ducats are pretty cool coins with very low premium. But if you do mind and you don't want to mess around with the sale, well, then you should be looking higher up that ladder of popularity. Things are changing. It's getting easier and easier to buy online, and the online bullion dealers are getting to be more and more the traditional place to buy. And as more and more people buy online and don't have that crabby local coin shop owner yelling at you for making bad decisions, you're going to see more variety. I personally still recommend staying at the very top of that ladder. I like the Buffaloes, I like the Eagles, and then the coins that I buy outside of that are going to be a lot more rare for me. But if I see something like this 2021 Gold Britannia, and it has a very low premium like this one did, I'm going to be able to consider it because I understand what my options for selling it are. And I think as you better understand your options for selling, well, it opens up new possibilities for what you can buy. And I felt like that was an angle that just wasn't covered in my Gold 101 video. So, I hope this helps round out that advice and gives you a little bit more to think about. Again, I'll include some links to that video so you can check it out if you haven't already. Either way though, I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Take care.